starting on a new venture. It's The Real Estate Show. Welcome to The Real Estate Show. My name is Rick Naples, the new broker for Zone Realty LLC. You zone your home. Starting a new venture. I've been announcing for a while that some new things are going to be coming, both for me and for The Real Estate Show. So we're launching a brand new real estate company. A lot of work has to be done, groundwork has to be done, and we're not quite ready with the advertising campaign. But I thought I would take the time on this real estate show to introduce the new name and what I'll be up to in the near future. Any new venture, when you start it, as you know, requires a lot of groundwork to be laid. And it's just like when you're going to purchase or sell a house. Now here on the real estate show, I've shown dozens of presentations with different hints and ideas and things that happen during the course of the real estate transaction. Some geared specifically for the sellers, others geared to the buyers, and some just general information. And I plan to continue to do that as our show morphs to the new version that we're going to be coming up with in the next few weeks. There's a lot of redesign going on. The new venture for me, as I said, is starting a real estate company. Now, as a broker, my responsibility is the setup of the company to which I'm going to run, as well as hiring agents and training those agents to provide you with the services that you need when it comes to the real estate transaction. And there's a lot of stuff that has to be done before you can actually kick off a new company. Paperwork is immense. And the paperwork's just like anything else, folks. When you're doing a sale, when you're purchasing a house, or if you're listing a house, we've gone over the tons of paperwork that you need to sign. You know, if you're going to buy a house and you're going to get a mortgage, the paperwork that's involved with that. I always joke saying that I've been around long enough where I can remember them saying, oh, we're going to become a paperless society in 5 years. Well, I think that 5 years has come and gone at least 4 times since I've heard that. So unfortunately, there's a lot of paperwork to do. And along with the paperwork comes the waiting period. So when you file certain paperwork, like with your state or with the Secretary of the State or wherever the paperwork has to go, you have to wait for it to be processed before you can go the next step. Because one piece of paperwork plays off of another piece of paperwork, which plays off of another piece of paperwork. So just like a real estate transaction, when you're starting a business, for those of you out there that have done it, you know that one thing needs to be put in place before you can get to the other things that you need to do. So I'm excited. So on this show, we're going to sit back, we're going to look at some of the presentations I put together over the years, and some of the information that I've shared with you about real estate and the real estate transaction. recently went to a educational class, as realtors, and I think I've explained this before. Real estate agents, realtors, brokers alike, all have to do continuing education classes. It's a requirement in order to maintain your license. So I had the opportunity recently to go to one of the classes that I'm required to take and talk to fellow realtors and brokers and so on and so forth about the real estate business and our general chit chat and some of the things that are going on there. And it was interesting to learn some of their experiences as they kicked off some of their businesses. So of course I had a lot of questions to ask and I learned a lot. When you're in a continuing education class, you do have that opportunity to converse and network with other realtors, and I find it extremely important, not only because I'm required to do that stuff, but also to go and be able to talk to fellow realtors. It's also a chance for me to see some old friends. I changed companies a couple of times in my career, and every time you change companies, you make new friends, you leave behind old friends. Well, if you've ever left a job to go to a new venture, a new job, you know how it is. And I happened to bump into one of my old friends from many, many years ago from one of the first real estate companies I started with as a new agent. And we hadn't seen each other in a number of years. And first thing he says to me is, he says, "Hey, Rick, what's the deal with the Fu Manchu mustache?" Which I had to laugh. Because I said, "What do you mean Fu Manchu?" He was pointing out how gray I've gotten over the years. And I just looked at him with a big smile. I said, "Yeah, I've got to show my experience, I guess. You age with experience." We kind of had a little bit of a laugh about it. But quite honestly, hey, it's my new look. I have a new company I'm kicking off. It's new beginnings. Why not make some changes and go for it? So that's the reason for the extra hair here on my face. Whether I'll keep it or not, quite honestly, folks, I don't know. We'll see. The jury's still out on that. Let's take a look at another presentation, and I'll be back with some more commentary. One of the changes I'll be making here on the real estate show is at the end of the show, as many of you know who've been following us for the last 6 seasons or so, we always do the real estate mailbag where we show our email address, and people who want to email us questions, we try to address them on the show. And basically I go through the mounds of emails and I try to find emails that match the subject of what I was talking about on the show. And I've even admitted I've gotten ideas for the real estate show from the emails that have been received. Well, I'm going to change that around a little bit. We're still going to have the real estate mailbag at the end of the real estate show. But sometimes it won't be emails. Sometimes it's just going to be a general observation or something that I want to share that's either with the subject or outside of the subject that we've been talking about on the real estate show. So that's one of the minor changes you're going to see as we go through future shows. But in the meanwhile, again, let's sit back and watch this short presentation. Every once in a while, I like to visit safety. Safety is a very important thing in our lives. We know how things have changed since the time I was a kid, you were a kid, whatever. We know how through the generations, safety has become more and more of a concern. We live in a very weird world. All kinds of things happen. And as realtors, we have to be very conscious about safety because we're in an industry where we don't know the people most of the time that we are going to engage with while we're doing the jobs we're hired to do. I mean, there's relatively no other profession out there that I can think of where you go out and you meet somebody that you've never met before in a place that you've never been before and allow yourself to be away from the general public with that individual. So you're always putting your safety at risk when you're doing the performance of your job. And then, of course, after you develop a relationship with someone, things calm down. The National Association of Realtors developed this 3-minute safety video. I like to show it from time to time on the real estate show because it has some very good information in it. Kind of tells you what to expect when you're working with a realtor and the reasons behind it. And again, I want to take the moment on this show, since I am kicking off the new venture, of starting the show with a little bit of information, the National Association of Realtors video on safety.
Real estate professionals are in a unique position that most working professionals never face. They often share their contact information openly with others, meet unknown clients, and walk through vacant properties, to name a few. It's because of the unique nature of this business that it's critical for all real estate professionals to have a personal safety protocol in place that they follow every day, with every client, every time. And that includes with you. So, what kind of safety protocols might your real estate agent take? When meeting you for the first time, your agent might not meet you at the property right away without first having an initial meeting at the office, regardless of you or your agent's gender. You wouldn't want to meet a stranger at an unknown location, would you?
Hey, how you doing?
No. During the initial meeting, your agent may make copies of your driver's license and pre-approval letter for their records. This precaution allows the agent to keep a record at the office of who his or her clients are and a calendar of appointments. When first meeting with your agent, you'll also discuss the types of real estate you're interested in and walk you through the process. Now your agent can arrange showings, meet you at properties, and schedule open houses to help you through the biggest financial decision of your life. When viewing a property, your agent may ask that you drive separately. Please don't be offended. This is a safety precaution for you as much as it is for your agent. Not to mention you may both have appointments to go to afterward.
Hey, this is cute.
When viewing a property, you may need to sign in with your name and phone number or show a photo ID. This is so the seller's agent knows who entered the house. If you were opening your home to strangers, you'd want to know who was there too. As you tour a property, your agent may walk behind you, This is not only a routine safety measure, it also allows you to see the room first and make your own impressions. And many agents won't go into attics, garages, or basements, but feel free to look around and let your agent know what you thought. If you want to see a property that's vacant,
It's got potential.
your agent may only show it during daylight hours. Vacant properties should be seen during the day when you can see what safety hazards may exist, like a loose floorboard or any defects the house may have, like mold. When showing your property or hosting an open house, before opening your home to potential buyers, your agent may ask you to board your pets and remove jewelry, family photos, credit card receipts, artwork, prescription drugs, and valued possessions from the home. This is just one way your agent is looking out for you to keep your property and belongings secure. Your agent may bring a colleague to host your open house. If there are several potential buyers walking through the home, even better to have 2 agents on hand to answer questions and keep an eye on things. Safety is an important part of real estate, and we appreciate you respecting the protocols and processes that have been put into place to keep you and your agent safe.
This real estate show is all about my new venture, and as I said, I'm starting a real estate company. And just like when you first purchase a home, you want to kind of make it your own. Now, over the years, I've mentioned that I've worked with 2 or 3 different real estate companies, and as I was working with those companies and took positions with my realtor association, I had the opportunity to work with other realtors at other companies and kind of get an idea of how things were run and the things that they did, what differentiated them from other companies that were out there. Kind of got a good look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. And from all those years of all that information, I've built up the confidence to be able to take all the good and put it together in a company that I think will offer you one of the best services out there as far as real estate is concerned. It's a long process, however. Not only do you have all the paperwork that you have to file with the state and with the multiple listing service and your associations and all that kind of stuff, but it's the process of going through changing your address on everything. Now, anyone who's moved into a new home knows how much sometimes it can be a hassle in getting your old address changed to your new address. You can file that address change card with the post office and hope that your mail finds you. But you usually, for months after you've moved, always find a piece of mail that went the wrong direction or got delayed because it went to your old address instead of your new address. In the case of a realtor that operates a business and someone that's been in the business as long as I have, there's a ton of different things I have to change. From the very simple mailing address to my email address, my contact information on all the social media channels that I use, and other ways that I advertise. So it's a very tedious process to go through, but I hope it will be well worth it. There's also designing the company, branding it. Just like with a new house, you're going to change things around. You want to design the house, you want to paint, maybe you want to add, maybe you want to remodel, update, all those different things. Well, it's the same thing when you're opening up a new company. I've been in the process of trying to design new business cards, a company logo, an advertising campaign, building a website, all those things that get involved. So I've spent a lot of time sitting at the computer, hours and hours, trying to design these things and come up with a look that I felt was a good, recognizable look. And I hope you've seen that in a couple of the presentations that I've cut into the show, which introduce the company name and the new logo we'll be going under. You're also going to see some changes as far as the email address is concerned for me. In some of the presentations, I've included my personal email address. It's now going to change to a company address, so you can kind of look for that. But we'll keep the email address for the real estate show the same, so you always have a way to contact us through the show should you have a question about real estate. Let's look at this presentation, and I'll be back with that section of the show I mentioned, the real estate mailbag. This is the part of the real estate show I call the real estate mailbag. My opportunity to address questions that are sent to me here at the email address, or just the questions that get asked to me when I'm out and about. The commentary or the question I want to try to answer here is I've had many friends, relatives, associates, past clients say, why did you wait so long, Rick, to open up your own real estate company? Well, I didn't see a need. I was very happy where I was making a decent living. It didn't make any sense for me to take on the responsibilities of running a company. But you know, over the years I've held very many administration positions and very many positions in leadership, and I found that I like that end of the business. I'll always work with buyers and sellers. That is the, for lack of a better term, the meat and potatoes of my living. But at the same time, I enjoy teaching and managing other people. So figured I'd take everything that I've learned over the last 15 years or so, put it all together, and form a company that I believe in, and I hope you'll believe in too. My name is Rick Naples, the new broker owner for Zone Realty. You zone your home. This has been the Real Estate Show. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.